Today on
Doomed!
Trump and Biden seem to agree to some sudden debates. AI hype continues to roll on. And I mean, what else is going on other than really this continuing tragedy of the Middle East, with Israel continuing to airstrike Rafah in Gaza, and it doesn't seem like the Biden administration is willing to do anything. In fact, it appears that, from what I was reading, the weapons that were being held are actually, that the U.S. said they would hold and not send to Israel, are not in fact weapons that would be used for a ground invasion. Those weapons they're still sending to Israel. So, red line just out the window, I guess. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Another week where, honestly, I have a problem. This has been the case. You all have listened to everything I do over the past, for years, some of you. But a lot of you have listened to me for the past couple of months. And it is hard to really talk about anything else than what's going on in Gaza. It is it's just so enraging. And that feeling that I have, and I'm sure many of you have, it's spreading. There are a lot of people who are, the polling shows it, regardless if you're an American who is, more sympathetic to Israel or the Palestinians, regardless of that, the polling shows that people are not happy with how this Israel's retaliation and the U.S.'s subsequent support and funding of it is going. And I want to start this show with this. A Biden administration member has resigned. Another one, actually. This is not the first. I want to make this clear. But this one is very interesting. Her name is Lily Greenberg Call. And she's a former Biden political appointee. And she resigned today, May 15th. And I'm going to read you her letter because I think she worked for the U.S. She worked for the U.S. Department of the Interior. And I think this letter is very interesting. And, I think we'll see even more of this. So, Lily Greenberg Call writes, I joined the Biden administration because I believe in fighting for a better America, for a future where Americans can thrive, one with economic prosperity, a healthy planet, and equal rights for all people. I have dedicated my career to candidates who I believe would further this vision. I worked for Vice President Kamala Harris's presidential campaign in 2019 and then moved to Arizona to work for President Biden's campaign in 2020. Now, I'm going to interject here. This is clearly not someone who during the primaries you would classify as like a Bernie Sanders leftist, I guess, right? I mean, this is someone who appears to be sort of your average everyday Democrat. I was thrilled to join the Department of the Interior because I was inspired by your principled track record of championing progressive causes in addition to your role as an indigenous... Now, she wrote this to Secretary Deb Haaland, by the way. Your role as an indigenous woman leading a department that historically harmed indigenous communities and the potential that it has for reparations, reconciliation, and healing. However, I can no longer, in good conscience, continue to represent this administration amidst, President Biden's disastrous continued support for Israel's genocide in Gaza. I am an American Jew. My family escaped anti-Semitic persecution in Europe and found refuge in America. They changed their names at Ellis Island and worked as farmers, peddlers, and salespeople. My grandparents could not go to college. 2 generations later, I have the honor of working as an appointee for the President of the United States. The weight of this position is not lost on me. This is the story of many people in my community, a story of survival, upward mobility, and fulfillment of the American dream. And yet I have asked myself many times over the last 8 months, what is the point of having power if you will not use it to stop crimes against humanity? My whole life has been spent in Jewish community in the U.S. and Israel. I have spent time in Israel, Palestine, and I learned Hebrew and Arabic both formally in school and through the connection in my community. I have family and friends who are Israeli, Palestinian, and have loved ones who have served in the IDF. People in my community lost loved ones during Hamas's attack on October 7th. Beloveds killed, displaced, and taken hostage. I am terrified by rising anti-Semitism around the world, and yet I am certain that the answer to this is not to collectively punish millions of innocent Palestinians through displacement, famine, and ethnic cleansing. Israel's ongoing offensive against Palestinians does not keep Jewish people safe in Israel nor in the United States. What I have learned from my Jewish tradition is that every life is precious, that we are obligated to stand up for those facing violence and oppression and to question authority in the face of injustice. As of this writing, Israel has killed over 35,000 people in Gaza, including 15,000 children. The Israeli military has bombed medical infrastructure, besieged a hospital, left mass graves behind, destroyed every university in Gaza, targeted journalists and aid workers, and committed many, many inexcusable atrocities. These are all violations of international law, none of which would be possible without American weapons, and none of which have been condemned by President Biden. The president has the power to call for a lasting ceasefire, to stop sending weapons to Israel, and to condition aid. The United States has used nearly no leverage throughout the last 8 months to hold Israel accountable. Quite the opposite. We've enabled and legitimized Israel's actions with vetoes of UN resolutions designated to hold Israel accountable. President Biden has the blood of innocent people on his hands. I don't want to read this all because it's not my words, but like there's only a little bit more. I guess I might as well. I urge you to go check it out because this is I think a very meaningful resignation letter. The United States has long enabled Israeli war crimes and the status quo of apartheid and occupation. That status quo does not keep Israelis safe, nor Jews around the world. It certainly does not protect Palestinians who have the right to freedom, safety, self-determination, and dignity just as much as Jewish people do, and every person does. Any system that requires the subjugation of one group over another is not only unjust but unsafe. Jewish safety cannot and will not come at the expense of Palestinian freedom. Making Jews the face of the American war machine makes us less safe. What seems like a lack of awareness in the administration leadership of how critical that issue is to the American public is devastating to both communities and politically disastrous. Today, May 15th, is Nakba Day, which recognizes the destruction of Palestinian society and homeland in 1948 and the displacement of the majority of the Palestinian people for the formation of today's modern Israel. Nakba and Shoah, the Hebrew word for Holocaust, mean the same thing, catastrophe. I reject the premise that one people's salvation must come at another's destruction. I'm committed to creating a world where this does not happen, and this cannot be done from within the Biden administration. My choice to leave is not a reflection of this office or the department. I have felt supported by many individuals here, but I do not feel supported by the policies and action of this administration. I have the utmost respect for my colleagues in the department who have given so much of themselves to doing good work of preserving our public lands and strengthening Indian country and the many public servants across the federal government. I urge you all to take a stand for Palestinian lives. All of our futures depend on this. Respectfully, Lily Greenberg Call. This was, this is a really good resignation letter. And This is, by the way, an individual who, and now I know I mentioned how this is not someone. I mean, this is a person who worked for Kamala Harris's presidential campaign and then the Biden general election campaign. But this person has moved leftward over the years because this individual, formerly in their youth, worked for AIPAC. This is, again, not some like super lefty, like this is someone who is, I would say, representative of the Democratic base. They're very progressive. And they're taking this stand. They resigned from their position in the administration. I mean, this is not the first person to do it. And then there's this too that just came out today. So if you watch the Majority Report, you're probably familiar with this name. They've had him on before. And Majority Report producer Matt Leck is always referring to this individual because they are very well respected. This is a well-known Israeli historian, Ilian Pape, excuse me. They have a long history of covering the conflict in the Middle East, covering the Palestinian plight, the Israeli occupation. And Pape is writing on his Facebook page earlier today that he was detained at an airport and then questioned about what's been going on in Gaza, as if he was a supporter of terrorism. This is an Israeli historian who is an expert in this field. And they were detained earlier. Let me read. Let me actually I'll pull up his so you could follow along. His Facebook post here. Pape writes, did you know that, let me make it a little smaller. Did you know that 70-year-old professors of history are threatening America's national security? I arrived on Monday at Detroit Airport and was taken for a 2-hour investigation by the FBI, and my phone was taken as well. The two men were not abusive or rude, I should say, but their questions were really out of this world. Am I a Hamas supporter? Do I regard the Israeli actions in Gaza as a genocide? What is the solution to the conflict? Seriously, this is what they asked. Who are my Arab and Muslim friends in America? How long do I know them? What kind of a relationship I have with them? In some cases, I sent them to my books, and in some cases, I answered laconically yes or no. I was quite exhausted after an 8-hour flight, but this is part of the idea. They had long phone conversations with someone, and he questions whether it was the Israelis. And after copying everything on my phone, they allowed me to enter. I know many of you have fared far worse experience, but after France and Germany denied entry to the rector of Glasgow University for being a Palestinian, God knows what will happen next. The good news is, actions like this by the USA or European countries taken under pressure from the pro-Israeli lobby or Israel itself smell of sheer panic and desperation in reaction to Israel's becoming very soon a pariah state with all the implications of such a status. And now I do agree with him that that's clearly what's going on here in terms of what's going on with Israel. I mean, they are... just look at the protests and chaos happening inside Israel itself. This is a society that seems that it could soon be on the verge of collapse based on how the government and the far right is running things, and its supporters are taking to the streets, and how others in the country who don't agree with this, including many of the hostage families who disagree. I mean, this is, if you've seen video, this is, there's internal conflict in Israel as well. But I think that is, I guess, a one way to look at this. But I personally am not so optimistic as Ilan Pappé, because I'm quite concerned by the fact that he was taken aside at an airport and asked these questions. That does not. It seems quite inappropriate. I mean, jeez. These were deranged questions, honestly. Because he's an Israeli historian who covers Palestine, an expert in the field. He's asked if he supports Hamas and if he thinks what Israel is doing in Gaza is a genocide. What is an answer to that question that could possibly pertain to national security? If he said that he believes it's a genocide, what possibly could that mean for national security? I believe what Israel is doing is a genocide. Am I a national security risk? He was also asked, what is the solution to the conflict? If he said a two-state solution, if he said a one-state solution, do one of those rise to the level of being a national security risk? That seems quite absurd either way. I mean, the levels of absurdity here are just compounding and growing. And I mean, this is insane, honestly. Insanity. This sort of behavior really does not happen for any other country, honestly. Like, would you get pulled over as a national security risk? And I haven't heard of any of this. Perhaps people have, but no one, as far as I know, has reported it. So I can only go by that. Has anyone been taken aside and questioned based on their support of, for example, Russia in the war in Ukraine, Russia's war in Ukraine and Russia's invasion of Ukraine? Would being a Russia sympathizer get you questioned? I haven't heard of anything of that nature. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, you really can have your day, week, month, year, life ruined for potentially having the wrong opinion on this mass killing of innocent Palestinian people in Gaza. In the chat, Polo says, in Ukraine, yes. Not sure about in the U.S. Well, yes. Obviously, that's what I'm talking about. Obviously, if you're going to Ukraine and you're a Russia sympathizer, they'll probably ask you questions to make sure you're not planning something while you're visiting the country. I think that's a fair assumption. But to do that here would be absurd, and I haven't heard of it happening here. It's insanity. It's insanity. It really is. All right. So let's move on to this. I mean, I'm not going to spend. NYCFC won their game tonight. Ooh, they move up in the standings. Sorry, this is more like second half stuff. But where are we at in the standings here? New York City Football Club, MLS. Yeah, NYCFC moves up to fourth. I'm pumped. Let's see how this. Continues. They face the Red Bulls. Ooh, New York versus New York on Saturday. I gotta get tickets. This is here. That's here in Queens. All right. Anyway. So Joe Biden earlier today. Let me pull it up actually. One second. All right. So earlier today, Joe Biden sent a letter to the usual debate commission that runs these presidential debates. And he shares that he is not going to go through them for the debates. He's not going to do the presidential election debates through the official organization that has, for the past, I think 4 decades, put them together. And instead, he just openly, independently challenged Donald Trump to 2 debates, one in June, just next month, really soon, and one in September, about 2 months before the election. And so I don't know what the strategy there was. I guess people assumed that there would be no debates. I think in terms of who can better debate, they both are going to be up there as if they have RFK Jr., brainworm, Eden brains up there, I think. But Trump will put on the better show. And I think that's what the Biden campaign is worried about. Because Trump will put on a better show. Unless, Biden is on his A game the nights of the debates. So I guess by putting out this challenge, they were hoping to come across as leading the charge, that they're the strong man here. They're the ones calling for the debates. They're the ones issuing the challenge. Trump's not the one taking that proactive stance. It's Biden. Apparently, they have already confirmed the 2 debates. One will be with CNN, and the other appears to be with ABC. So Trump has accepted the debates, the debate challenge. And so I guess we will see what happens. I think for this particular election, the debates will matter very little. Everyone has decided who they're going to vote for in terms of if they're undecided for Biden or Trump. There's no one choosing between those two. The real question is, will these men be able to turn out their base? Not just their supporters, people who are planning to vote for them, but the Democratic base and the Republican base. I think Trump has sort of plateaued. He hit, I don't think there'll be any growth there, really. If you're a Trump supporter at this point, as he's going through these trials, you're a true blue Trump supporter. You're not going anywhere. He'll turn you out. So the real question becomes, can Biden turn out his base? Can Biden overcome his obstacles? The people who are unhappy with how the economy has gone over the past 4 years, young people and progressives who are unhappy with how he's been handling Israel and what's happening in Gaza. I think that will be the real question. Can he do that? And I'm guessing he's hoping that in these debates, Trump will showcase just how dangerous his presidency will be if he wins in November. I don't think he, as Dave from Jamaica in the chat points out, he is losing in every battleground state. I think he's ahead in Wisconsin by like 2 points, Dave. But yes, every other state he is losing. I mean, it is completely on him. It is Joe Biden's election to lose. Trump is not going to win with some large turnout. He is going to win because his turnout will be more than Biden. It would not shock me if the turnout altogether is less than 2020. In fact, I'm assuming it's going to be. The question is, will Trump's smaller turnout be larger than Biden's smaller turnout? That is the question left to be answered. I think it's so easy for Biden to move ahead on this issue. I'm sorry, supporters of Israel who would be turned away by Biden taking a proactive stance in stopping Israel's attacks in Gaza. Those supporters of Israel are conservatives, are Republicans already. He is not going to lose their support. He's never had it to begin with. Listen, there are plenty of Americans who believe Israel has a right to defend itself and has a right to exist, who think, this is what the polling shows, because it wouldn't be possible for the polling to show this. There are plenty of them who believe this has gone over the top. There are too many innocent civilians being killed over there in Gaza. So the idea that him taking a stern position with Netanyahu, a right-winger, a far-right authoritarian who wants Trump to win in November, the idea that Biden going up against Netanyahu would lose him Democratic votes is absurd. The people who would get angry at him are already people who are going to vote for Trump. So if Biden hasn't come to this realization yet, then he just does not have that position. He truly wants to support Netanyahu and Israel and their far-right government to the point where he does not mind losing in November. And that is on him. Listen, previous elections, you could make the case, I wouldn't agree with you, but you could make the case that so-and-so did what they could to reach out and get these people to vote for them. So it's on you if you didn't. I don't agree, but you could make that argument. I do not see how you could make this argument now. I do not see. Biden is supporting one of Trump's biggest cheerleaders to his detriment. Obviously to the detriment of the Palestinian people, first and foremost, but we're talking in the context of the election. And if he does not care about that, then that is on him. It is his election to lose. His position on Israel has resulted in a net total of 0 hostages being saved. 35,000 dead Palestinians have resulted in Israel freeing a total of 3 hostages. It has also resulted in the deaths of numerous hostages, mostly by the hands of Israel, 3 which we can confirm based on the fact that they ran away and were running to IDF soldiers with a white flag screaming in Hebrew that they were Israeli hostages, and the IDF killed them anyway. What has saved hundreds of hostages has been a ceasefire and prisoner release negotiations. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's so simple. The idea that Israel is doing anything at this point but collectively punishing all Palestinians, ethnically cleansing Gaza, and making sure the Netanyahu government remains in power for as long as possible. Anything other than that, anything more than that, has not come to fruition, has not happened. Hamas is not weakened. If that's their goal, Hamas is not weakened. There have been plenty of reports over the past few days of Hamas fighting IDF soldiers in the north area that they supposedly had cleared out. Because they are not going to defeat Hamas. It is not going to happen. From what they are doing, they have created many more Hamas supporters, many more Hamas members. What they could have done to weaken Hamas was work with the Palestinian Authority to establish a Palestinian state. They do not want to do that. So, this is what they're going to accomplish. Many dead hostages, an ongoing conflict with Hamas for another generation, and a standing in the world that's weaker than ever. I mean, it's and Israel's not going to care. It's not going to realize this is what Netanyahu wants because it keeps him in power. That's why it's up to Biden to do something about it. He has yet to do anything about it. The only thing he has done is given his rubber stamp of approval to everything. I don't care about these reports that Biden is frustrated. Biden was stern in his phone call to Netanyahu because it has resulted in nothing. Nothing. I don't care about how Biden apparently privately feels. I don't believe it, first of all. But I do not care one way or another how Biden personally feels, and neither should you, because it does not matter. The only thing that matters from the President of the United States is what they do, the action that they take. My God. And this I guess that we're going to pivot again. This is really more of a scam economy story, so we'll be doing it on scam economy in the coming weeks for sure. But just this week, on both Monday and Tuesday, 2 big AI companies, OpenAI and Google, I mean, that's what they're positioning themselves as now. That's what they're positioning themselves now, as an AI company, held their events to announce new AI products. And, what I wanted to spend a little bit of time on here is that it is becoming abundantly clear that the AI that these companies, this is what I've been saying, and this is what many skeptics have been talking about. Many of the AI promises have yet to come to fruition. They show all these amazing things that they can hopefully do in the future in their little presentations at these events, and then simply cannot deliver on them. Yet, in selling you that promise that they can deliver on them, they are trying to gain the public's acceptance or permission, I guess you can say, in them stealing more content from creators, from websites, in order to feed to their AI models to train, not only just train, in Google's position, straight up scrape and throw onto their search engine so users get all the information that they want just by searching the query on Google, getting your words from your website right there on the search page, and never having to go to your website, which means you get no credit, you get no ad revenue, you get no fan base, no subscriber base, no membership revenue, you get nothing. I just wanted to mention that because I think puts a little cherry on top to this whole dystopia we're currently in right now, honestly. Everything happening politically, everything happening globally, domestically, internationally, in terms of policy, global events. And also, here we have the tech industry making sure that everything sucks. Again, I'll be going a lot more into the AI debacle on Scam Economy, but I just wanted to mention it because it just happened this week. And also to tease Scam Economy. It's been a little while since I've done some episodes, but they'll be coming back. We're going to, obviously, I've said this many times in the last few Scam Economy episodes, it's still going to cover crypto, but we're broadening our horizons, throwing in any sort of tech hype, any sort of scammy bullshit from the tech industry and beyond. So yeah, be sure to check that out in the coming weeks. All right, folks, let's go to the second half of the show. Oh, wait, first of all, a regular listener of this show, Kowalski, is running for office. And let me say, Kowalski, he's running in Nebraska. I don't know how many listeners we have in Nebraska, but Kowalski is running as a Republican. He has true Republican values, as in read between the lines. He's a regular listener of this show, remember. And let me just say, Sam Cedar said it, and I'm going to reiterate here. Finally, a Republican I would vote for. So, Kowalski, call into the second half of the show. And you know what? We've got to have you on the main show, too, to talk about your run. All right, folks, we're going to go to the second half of the show now. Oh, the election was yesterday. I didn't realize. I thought we had time. My bad, Kowalski. Oh, well. How'd you do? Call in and let me know how you did. I didn't realize Nebraska held their elections yesterday, too. How'd you do? Did you win? Wow, Kowalski got 20% of the vote? Nicholas says, aren't you an MR producer? No, I'm not an MR producer. I was many years ago. Ooh, how many people still confuse me for Matt Leck? I'm on the Majority Report once a week, but I no longer produce the show. Wait, so what place did you come in, though, Kowalski? Where's the where's this trying to find where's the real, I'm trying to find the election results. You came in second. What were the vote totals? You got what and they got what, and the first place got what? And how many people were running? Kowalski, you should run again. Second place is impressive. Washington Post has it. All right, let's see. 20%? That's impressive. You ran for Senate though. That's real. You really went for went right for it. You should run for House. You might be able to pull it off. You all these people know who you are now. All right, folks, let's go to the second half of the show. I'll be taking your calls. Don't go anywhere. This is just how I end the show for the podcast listeners. If you're watching on the stream, you don't go anywhere. Just bear with me while I do these promos. Folks, patreon.com/Matt Binder if you can support the show. It has been a brutal time for memberships to this stream, to this podcast, to this show. We have not had any new patrons all month so far. We've lost a few too on top of that. We are heading in the wrong direction show growth wise in terms of paying subscribers. So if you can, patreon.com/Matt Binder, I would really appreciate it. It would mean a lot and it would help me be able to grow this show and do more content, honestly. You could also subscribe to the channel at youtube.com/Matt Binder. You could drop a super chat. I'll read your super chats in the second half of the show. If you prefer to become a member via YouTube, you could do that as well. I get more if you do it through Patreon, but a lot of people who are regular YouTube viewers like doing it through YouTube because it's just easier for them and they get the YouTube bonuses as well. I get that as well. Follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Matt Binder. If you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, connect your Amazon account to your Twitch account. You get a free Twitch Prime subscription, which is basically a free membership to your favorite creator every month that gets them paid and costs you nothing extra. So be sure to do that and give it to me if you can. What else? Doomedcast.com for the podcast version of the show. Scameconomy.com for Scam Economy. What else? Let's see. I can't even think. Oh, if you want to call into the show, open up Skype, even the website. You could call in via the website. You don't got to download anything. And search Doomed Live, one word, Doomed Live. And you can call in. I take the calls as they come in. There's no screening. You could literally call in and talk about anything. Doesn't got to be what we just talked about. Doesn't even got to be politics. You can talk about whatever you would like to talk about. And if you disagree with me on something, I urge you to call in because there's nothing I like to do more than spar with someone in the marketplace of ideas and have fun little debates. All right, folks. Matt, you okay? Yeah, I just made a face, right? All right, folks. Let's go to the second half of the show. No patrons still. Unbelievable. It'll happen. People having hard times. I get it. If you financially can't do it, don't do it. But if you can, consider it. All right, folks, give me a second to refill my drink. I'll be right back. If you're a Patreon subscriber or if you're just watching on the live stream on YouTube or Twitch. If you're listening to the podcast version of this show via download or Apple Podcasts or Spotify, this is where I say to you, I will see you next time on Doomed. Today on Doomed.
Ecological collapse, corporate fascism, corporate journalism, police brutality, voter suppression, austerity economics, educate the masses, rampant homophobia.
We got our first caller.
What's up, Matt?
Hey,
You from Jamaica?
Dave from Jamaica. How are you doing, my friend? What are we going to talk about today?
I don't think you are exactly what you claim you are. I would say you're a conservative. What makes you look? I'm pro-Green New Deal. Are you? Yes, really, absolutely. Really.
All right, we are back. Ooh, we got a patron. The dry spell is over. Thank you so much, NC Sketchy, for becoming a member. Seriously, Patreon subscribers are the reason I can do this. If we were to dip under a certain level, it would be really brutal to my ability to do this show. And honestly, to do streams and Leftist Mafia and all that in general. Because it really does help me be able to take the time to do these shows. Because if I didn't have that coming in, I would need to spend that time working other jobs. Seriously. So if you can, become a patron at patreon.com/MattBinder. Can we get 2 before the night's over? Let's see. All right, let me take calls. We got a bunch coming in. Hey, what's your name? Where you come
from? Thank you. Hello.
This is
your favorite real president.
Oh my God. It is none other than my favorite real president. Is this Jimmy Carter? I know you're in your final.
He's a loser. A total loser.
Excuse me, sir. Jimmy Carter apparently is according to his grandson, is in his final days, my friend, at the hospice. So let's give Jimmy Carter a little bit of respect.
Well, he's a happy guy now that Biden's in office because. But if you took the worst 15 presidents, put them in a blender, it wouldn't taste as bad as Joe Biden.
Want to put my favorite presidents in a blender? The country
can't go on, Matt. It can't go on. It can't go on.
It can't go on. All right. So it is, ladies and gentlemen, this is the real Donald Trump. That was your former, it still is, I guess now, but you don't use it anymore, but it was your Twitter username handle, the real Donald Trump. It is Donald Trump, folks.
It's real Donald Trump, and I'm really your real president. Yeah, just ask Mike Lindell. Mike has all the answers. He's got so much going on.
What's he been up to lately? Actually, I have no idea what Mike Lindell's been up to. I gotta say, sir, that honestly, due to just what's happening in Gaza taking my full attention, I really have not been. I've been reading just so I know generally what's happening, but I really have not been paying attention much to the election or what's been going on with your trial in Manhattan. So I don't know what you're calling in to talk about, but maybe you can fill me in on what's been going on in the life of Donald J. Trump.
Well, perhaps I can. Perhaps if you did your job as a journalist, I wouldn't have to do all this for you. But here we are. here we are, and it's great. It's fun. It's terrific. At least I'm
Alright.
not in the ice box. I call it the ice box. It's so cold in that courtroom. I don't understand. What are they doing? Why is
Wow.
it so cold in there? No one knows. No one knows how to turn anything on or anything like that. It's really a disgrace. It's really a disgrace, Matt. And it's horrible. And what they do, look. I have some articles here about the case.
What are you doing there?
Something from Alan Dershowitz, who says that this case shouldn't even be a case. See? I mean, right here.
Sir, do you really want to be
Also,
do you
also
really want to be
listen to
quoting Alan Dershowitz, my friend?
well, all the top legal experts say this shouldn't even be a case, and I'm very innocent. I'm not just totally innocent. I'm very totally innocent. I'm so innocent that if the jury will come back and the judge will say, "Have you reached a verdict?" and the guy will say, "Yes, we've reached a verdict." And they'll say, the very, very conflicted judge will say, "What verdict did you reach?" And if it's a fair jury, Matt, if it's a fair jury, they will find me very innocent. Probably the most innocent man in the history of humanity. I mean, that's what's going to happen.
Would you
I don't
say
know why
that
they're wasting their time. I shouldn't even be here. I shouldn't even be here in court. I mean, what am I doing here? I should be out in the campaign trail. Now, if we look through some of these other articles from top legal minds, what do we have here? Hamburger all over the highway in Mystic, Connecticut. No, wait, hold on. Hold on, here's another one.
Sir, what was that article about?
Study finds cat owners live longer. Wait.
What?
Well, I mean, look at this ton of articles I got in my
President Trump, I didn't realize you were a cat guy. What do you have that? You have a cat?
Look, I don't have a cat. They die like dogs. What's the point of having a cat? I don't understand.
You're
Anyway.
you're a dog guy? You're more of a dog person?
I did like Christine Ohm for what she did. I mean, that was bold. That was pretty, she shot the dog in the face.
So you liked that? I thought you wouldn't have.
I kind of like that, but then I saw all the polling that says people don't like that, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? I don't understand. And well, I mean, here we are. Anyway,
You did
just so
everything
you know,
right. You did everything right.
I
did everything right.
did everything right, and they indicted me.
Yes.
It's true, Matt. You laugh. But the whole world is laughing at America right now because of sleepy Joe Biden, crooked, sleepy.
I mean,
Joe
honestly, they probably are, but not for the reasons that you think, my friend. I mean, I'm sure a lot of the world is looking at Joe Biden's. I mean, maybe not the UK or Germany, but I'm sure a lot of the rest of the world is looking at Joe Biden's unwavering support of Netanyahu and thinking, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Look, I mean, if I was president, that never would have happened. You never would have had the problem with Israel and the Hamas. You never would have had that problem.
Wait, are you saying October 7th wouldn't have happened because if you were president,
No, I mean, look what.
So wait, you're saying 1948 wouldn't have happened if you were president?
World War II never would have happened if I was in charge. I would have been able to work something out. I would have made a deal, and it would have been a great deal. We never would have had World War II.
Wait, you would have cut a deal with who though? Are you saying you would have cut a deal with Hitler?
I'm sure we could have worked something out. I mean, look where we are now. Look where we are now, Matt. We're in the exact same position.
Wait, so you're saying if you were president and FDR wasn't, you would have worked out a deal with Adolf Hitler.
We would have worked out a deal with Hitler and Churchill,
Mussolini,
and everybody else. It would have been great. We would have had a great deal. It would have been a terrific.
Hiroshima and Nagasaki wouldn't have happened.
Never, nothing bad ever would have happened.
Ever
If
in
that
this?
works, you put Trump in charge, nothing bad happens. I mean, look, we had 4 years of pure bliss during my administration. I mean, you know, you could go to sleep at night, wake up in the morning, and say, at least President Trump is running the country.
Sir, what happened?
but-
What happened approximately between March 2020 and I mean it's still ongoing. But what started in March 2020 and was really bad in those first months of your presidency?
Look. I came up with Operation Warp Speed.
You did.
And
well,
we had
sort of.
They said you weren't going to have vaccines for 50, 75 years. And we got it
I
done.
don't think they said that
We
that
got it
long.
done- we got it done in less than a year, Matt.
You
And
did.
now I'm not sure if I want to endorse people taking it because we did it so quickly. So regardless, if you want to take it, fine.
Oh my God.
Fine with me. That's fine. You could do it if you want, but
That
there's a lot of
was,
people who don't want to take it, and that's fine too.
All right.
I just want to let you know also that I'm holding a Trump-approved, proud to be an American Freedom Bible.
Oh, you're selling Bibles
Autographed.
again.
It's autographed too.
Autographed by
a-
who? Jesus Christ or Donald Trump?
A certain guy called me.
Okay.
A certain guy called me, signed it for you.
You couldn't get the you couldn't get the
It's $99 as opposed to the $49 that we're charging already. But
Wait, what? There's you're just charging on top of for no reason, just extra money?
Look, it's got my autograph on it.
Oh, the autograph is so you're saying the autograph is worth the
It's
extra
value
$45.
added. It's like when I was
I would
president.
agree.
And I had my properties. There was a presidential premium. So when you assessed Mar-a-Lago, they said it was worth $18 million. I think it's worth $1.5 billion.
Eh.
So they couldn't even put it in the middle. What are you talking about?
You say tomato, I say tomato, right?
Excuse me. This is not what's supposed to happen. This is presidential harassment. This is presidential candidate harassment. That's what it is. We've come up with a new term, just like immigrant violence. You never heard that term before.
Immigrant violence.
Before I said
you
it,
said
no
that.
one-
When did you say that?
Well, it's a new category of crime that we have
It's a
because
new
of all the billions of immigrants who flow across our wide open borders. They're coming,
like who?
and they're coming at numbers that no one can even imagine. No one can even
No-
imagine
no-
these numbers.
No
Matt,
one,
and
no
they're
one can
coming.
imagine these numbers.
You can't. No one can.
I mean, I've heard how much. You're saying I can't imagine the numbers?
And you look what's happening, and you see, and you find, and you look, and you decide, and then you see, hey, you need Trump. You need Trump in there. You
Do
need
I?
Trump. Yes, you do. A lot of people have been asking me as of the last month. I got to wrap this up because there's a lot of things I got to do, and
Like what? What do you gotta do?
Oh,
All
I
right.
have court tomorrow, don't I?
You do, don't you?
All right. I can handle it. I mean, this should never even happen. This whole trial, it's a scam sham. It's a scam sham hoax. It's a hoax, scam, sham, fraud. Fraud, hoax, scam, sham. That's what it is.
And
it's
you would
not-
know you would know something about that, wouldn't you?
Look, I could tell one a fraud when I see one, and this judge and his daughter and the clerk and the shorthand person with the clacky machine, they're all on Biden. They're all paid by Biden and Soros. That's what's happening.
Really?
It's what's happening. I mean, just look. And before I go, I just want to let you know, people are asking me, where's Rudy? Apparently,
Where is Rudy? Actually, I haven't even thought of that.
apparently Arizona wants him or something.
Oh yeah.
People are coming up to me and saying,
I guess he's a
"Where
little bit busy.
Where is he? Where is Rudy?" They're asking me. And I mean, look, I don't know where he is. Am I his keeper, as they say? Am I his keeper? I don't think so. And he's certainly not hiding out of Mar-a-Lago. So you could cross that one right off the list.
He's definitely not there. You promise?
Matt,
Cross your heart.
Matt, it's been wonderful talking to you. I'll read your Lunchables articles and
Okay.
keep up the good work and be sure to vote Trump MAGA 2024. We're going to do it again. and we're going to do it very quickly. So
We're gonna
thank
do
you
what? Oh, do what very quickly?
very much. You're welcome.
Do what very quickly? That's not a. All right, thank you, sir. That was a great call. Oh my God, fantastic. All right, let's go to the next call. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is RFK's brain parasite. I'm calling from John Fetterman's brain.
Wait, you've the brain. So wait, hold on. RFK Jr.'s brain parasite.
I'm Robert Kennedy's brain parasite.
Bobby Kennedy, Robert Kennedy, Robert Kennedy's
Reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated.
RFK. Wait, did eating his part of his brain like make you inherit his voice? Like, I'm confused.
I'm actually the reason that he talks like that. I ate the part of his brain that makes his voice sound normal.
Oh, okay. Is this what this show is
So
now?
I
Just constantly
wanted to
taking calls.
let you know, Matt, that you have a great show going here and you're doing wonderful work. And I just wanted to say that I appreciate you. I don't know what I think about your boss over at Majority Report. It seems like they're kind of making you a Shabbat's goy. I just think it's very curious.
Was Robert Kennedy's brainworm Jewish by any chance?
No, but I wanted to say I think it's very curious that your boss, who is of a specific religious denomination, has been saying such horrible things about me.
Wow. He knew RFK, Robert Kennedy. He did a show with him actually for many years ago, over a decade.
I believe
ago.
that was 2004.
No, even earlier, not that far. Like more, I was there when that was happening. More like 2011, 2012, maybe. Yeah. So maybe you were there. Maybe you were beginning to eat away.
Well, I actually, if you'd like to know how I got in his brain, I'd be happy to tell you.
Sure.
So the year was 2003, and I was at a sit-in with Roger Ailes, and we were talking about electoral strategies and what we were going to be doing. And he said that something needed to be done about Bobby Kennedy. And so when he was on a trip to Africa, they put me in there, and I've been doing my work ever since. And in 2017, that they decided that. 2017, they decided that I'd done my job, and so I've been in John Fetterman ever since.
Okay. That's what's going on with John Fetterman.
It's awful in here. I mean, these pickings are horrible. It tastes like there's a gas leak inside this man.
Really?
Have you ever? Okay, I have a question for you, Matt.
Sure, go ahead.
Have you ever dropped an avocado on the ground and then tried to eat it 2 days later?
No.
That's approximately what a brain tastes like after a stroke. This is one of the most horrible assignments that they've ever put me on, and I really hope that it's over soon.
What other assignments have you been on before?
Well, in 1944, I was at the Battle of the Bulge in Bob Dole's shoulder.
You were Bob Dole. You broke. You broke. Yeah, it was gonna happen. How you doing?
I don't know what you're talking about, Matt.
Oh, you're going back. Okay, all right. You broke again. You broke again. All right.
Fuck. Well, let me know if there's any questions you have for Robert Kennedy's brainworm. But if not, I can always leave you alone and wish you a good rest of your show.
I think you got it. We got it all in. Thank you so much. What's your name, by the way? Do you have a name?
My name's Gerald.
Gerald? Okay. Have a great night, Gerald.
You have a great rest of your night, Matt. I hope you take care of yourself.
Bye. Oh my God. Take care, Gerald. Whew. Okay. If this is another character I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself. Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Yes, is this the commie bastard, Matt Binder? It is
Yeah.
I, Presidente Michel,
Oh,
the country formerly known as Argentina. now
formerly
it's
known
called
as Argentina.
Black Rocklandia.
Oh, Black Rocklandia. Very interesting. So, hey, nice to hear from you,
Yes.
President of Argentina. I can never say your name correctly. How is it said again?
It's no longer Argentina, now it's BlackRock.
Oh, yes, President of BlackRock.
Yes, and soon to be the president of Wall Street.
Okay,
And future winner.
I'm gonna
of
wing it here. I'm gonna wing it here. President Millet. What would you like to talk about?
Michel.
Millet, Michel, blah, blah,
Michel.
blah.
It's like Shade.
All right. What would you like to talk about? I hear things are going. Well, if you're, if you're the president of Argentina, things are going well because you get all this nice press about how you have balanced the budget and there's a
I
surplus.
was recently in Austin with your
Best friend
favorite
Elon Musk.
supervillain, Elon Musk. We were looking at his the envy of the world, his vehicles that I believe are going to be, those trucks are going to be future weapons in the war in Gaza, since they're liable to explode at any minute.
Right.
Yes, I wanted to run some ideas because this is also scam economy, and congratulations on getting another commie dupe as a Patreon.
Oh, excuse you. I will defend my patrons, by the way.
No, I mean, game recognizes game. You manage another sucker, I mean, that is commendable. That is
Excuse you.
You're
I will
learning
not.
from the best.
I will not take this what you're saying about my patrons.
It could be worse. You could be Destiny.
You can. All right, go ahead. You may continue.
Or a certain pseudo commie bastard called Bad Empanada, right? So
I don't really know what he's up to nowadays. So
yes, I have him in charge of a park.
Oh wait, really quick, because just got raided by Dylan Burns on Twitch. Thank you so much,
Another
Dylan.
commie bastard.
Yes, and for Dylan's viewers,
This is like an infection.
we are talking right now to Argentinian president. Well, he just told me that Argentina is now known as Black Rocklandia. So we are talking to the president of Black Rocklandia, Javier Milei.
Michel.
Michel.
It's like Shade.
Javier Milei.
There.
Yeah. Now continue.
Yes,
What would
you're
you like
sounding very Italian. That's good.
Continue.
Yes. As I'm saying, I wanted to run some ideas because since Fox News and Bloomberg have been commending on my high-level ideas, as a famous Jewish philosopher once said.
Continue. Yes.
Other than Hayek, of course, Milton
Right.
Friedman, and all those people. Yes.
No
And,
one's on their level. No one's on their level. Not even a Professor Rubin. Is he even a professor? I just fit with you how you're
I
talking
made him a
about him.
professor in Argentina.
Okay. Is it like
We're
how-
making him a statue. There's a statue being made as we speak.
the Dave Rubin statue? Where is
Yes,
that being
we're
placed?
We're going to replace the obelisk.
Continue. Okay.
Yeah, it's Michel, lo seta, Michel.
All right. I get it. Continue.
Hello, chat. Hello, you commie bastards. I know you like to be recognized. Yes.
They
so
do,
the idea
actually.
is the following. Instead of the usual bank teller, automatic bank teller, we would have like a slot machine. So sometimes you get your money or double, or sometimes you get nothing
Oh, you could get double
when
your
you
money
enter
though.
your bank card. It is brilliant idea.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm
It
sure.
would get this would certainly get me the Nobel Peace Prize of Economy and other imaginary things like the prize from Narnia.
The prize from Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
Yes,
I don't
and
know.
I'm thinking of
I
selling
think
it
you
to
should.
Japan.
Have you seen the lines of people, the roads full of people leaving Argentina to go shopping, to go grocery store shopping, just so they don't have to deal with the inflation,
Yes, I did
prices
that
of,
on purpose since I admire Chilean economics so much that I wanted to favor them.
you did that on purpose.
Yes, because then they will pay. They have to pay me back as a sort of like marketing expert.
Oh, that seems
But I
rough.
did an improvement because when the economy was especially bad under those boludos peronistas, the majority of people, when they did that, they went to Miami. But now they go closer to Chile.
Oh, okay. So it's a win-win. It's a win now.
Yes, and then we can also bother Boric at the same time, that fat bastard. So,
Oh, okay.
and regarding protests and all that, that's how I can see my enemies out on the street. I think
Ah,
Donald Trump would do well to follow that idea.
right, right. That's a good point.
Yes.
So how does it? I noticed that the UN recently held a.
Don't you want to ask me if whether or not how does Elon Musk smell?
No, I don't really care about that.
He
well,
smells like metal,
it smells
like
like
an
metal,
yeah, like an artificial man.
like an art. Like, are you saying he is a robot?
It's something strange. I think it's too much perfection in one person. It doesn't smell natural.
Mm, all right. What I did want to ask you though is that the UN recently held a vote on basically giving more recognition to Palestinians as a entity in the United Nations, and that vote won. But I was looking at there was a short list. There was like 25
You're asking
abstentions,
me as an honorary Jew.
and there were nine countries that voted it down. No,
First Jewish president of Argentina. or formerly, of BlackRock.
your usual suspects like the U.S. and the small sort of Polynesian islands that we are, basically vote with us because they feel like they have no choice, I'm sure. But one thing that really stuck out to me was the only Latin American country to vote against the Palestinians in the UN was Argentina.
Yes. And that's because this represents the true economic power of Argentina that decides to favor the stable system that is neoliberalism and capitalism, that is necessary for a balance of power in order for Israel to stay autonomous on top. You have to ask your president if he remembers his name and can speak. But it is very important that previously these commie bastards. Did you ever hear about the terrorist attack on the Israeli embassy in the early 90s?
Yeah.
Yes, that was the state of affairs in Argentina. But now, thanks to me, practically Argentina is a shul of a country.
All right.
Yes,
All
it's
right.
safer now. Everybody's the same. Everybody's hungry now.
Everybody.
But at least they can.
Everything's the same, but everybody is hungry now. Ooh.
Yes. I achieved true equality.
All right.
Okay. Do you have any other questions to ask this brilliant mind of mine?
I don't, honestly. It's been a good call, though. I appreciate you calling into the show.
I bid all you communists to realize the error of your ways. And if you can, to subscribe to my personal account in Argentina, my personal bank account, because I personally need the money.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you
have
do.
a good night.
You
Buenas
too.
noches.
Thank you for calling. Great. You know, I gotta say, these have been some exceptional character calls. I'm gonna break character here. Sorry. Been on fire tonight, everybody. Oh, we got 2 more patrons. Look at this. This is amazing. The drought is over. Andrew S. and Lux, thank you so much. So we got NC Sketchy, Andrew S., and Lux becoming patrons. Can we get to 5 patrons tonight? That would be incredible. 5 patrons tonight would be amazing. Patreon.com/Matt Binder. Again, if you can afford to do so. If you cannot, I'm not asking you. But let's see. Who knows? All right, let's go back to the calls. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, you hung up on me, buddy. Let's go back to the calls. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, it's me?
It's you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Matt from Alberta. I'm a regular listener to the Majority Report. I actually saw you first initially, so that's what got me down this random rabbit hole nowadays.
What?
So.
I gotta ask you about that, but first let me ask you, can I pull your video feed up on the chat, up on the stream?
Where'd I do that?
No, I can do it. I just want to get your permission that I can do that.
Oh, yeah, I know. Absolutely.
Cool. I just like to ask because I never know if people want to just do audio calls. So I always just make sure. Now that I see you, it's very clear you want to do a video call because you have a nice setup. Can you actually move over a bit to your right, just so because it's a split screen?
My right.
Yeah. There you go. Perfect. Now we're perfectly.
Can you hear me very well? I was having audio issues earlier today.
I can hear you perfectly, and you just reminded me actually that you probably can't hear me perfectly. Because I'm not using.
I can hear you pretty well.
You can hear me okay, but now you're going to hear me a lot better.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. I just realized it was not using the correct. The viewers are hearing the correct mic, but the callers on Skype were not. But now you do.
Perfect.
Hey, Matt. So you just said that you found me first, and then discovered the Majority Report, which is not the usual trajectory of people who listen to.
I imagine so, yeah. It was more or less a TikTok of you on the Majority Report that showed me first. So I was like, oh, I don't know what this background is, but okay, whatever. I'll just kind of watch these guys for a while.
I don't even do TikTok. That's amazing. I mean, I got to get on TikTok. I've been saying.
I don't even remember what it was at this point. It was like 2 years ago at this point. So
I was on TikTok 2 years ago. What?
Well, it's just like a little clip, but.
It was
a weird little rabbit hole.
I gotta say, you are inspiring me to quit kicking that can down the curb. I've been saying for years, I gotta start, because I have a TikTok account, never use it. I have a few TikTok accounts because I was like testing out shit years ago when it first started, and then I was like, this is not for me. And then TikTok completely changed. It's like not just like people doing sing-alongs or doing dances. It's a lot different now. And so I've been meaning to get back on there, and I never did, even though I should. But now you are giving me that final push I need. I'm going to start posting on TikTok regularly.
Just get like tiny little clips. You got lots of content out there. But
So that's incredible. You found me first
on a random I think it was like you and maybe Brandon at first. I was like, oh, okay, these guys seem to have a good head on their shoulders. I was like, I'll just go down this rabbit hole, because I was like pretty far down into like, I started with like, I don't know, some more news, and then got into like Hasanabi and just randomly got into my leftist area. Like I used to be a pretty heavy like Joe Rogan listener for a while there, and then like
that's
my
really
wife was like, "Hey, you gotta like chill out because our marriage isn't doing so well."
What?
And like,
Wait, whoa! Are you being serious?
6 years ago, we almost got a divorce because I was just like such a dirtbag for like a while there, and like she was like having a bit of an affair with another guy for a second, like not like a sexual affair, but I just eventually was just like, okay, what's the common denominator here? Because obviously she's not getting what she needs, and I'm thinking like, oh well, I'm not going to do the stuff she needs because I'm stuck here being not getting the affection I'm supposed to get that I feel like entitled to. And then I was like, wait, I'm the problem. Like, and then
this is amazing.
For like 6 months, I just worked on just being more present for her for the whole time, turned off Joe Rogan for a while there, and then got further and further radicalized from like feminism to just basic like, maybe bosses aren't like looking out for us in our, best behaviors or whatever. Kind of trembling words there.
Are you and your wife still together?
Oh yeah. We have an 18-month-old now who's just going to bed right now.
Was the 18-month-old pre Rogan or post Rogan? I mean, during Rogan.
Very much post. Like Rogan was probably 7 years ago. So like I've been on like a.
So hold on. So you stopped listening to Joe Rogan. Your marriage became healthy, and you had a kid. A kid.
Yeah.
This is incredible. This is.
Oh yeah, and it's funny watching like because all the guys that I used to like hang out with that were super down this route, like one's broke up with his long-term relationship just recently. Another one broke up with his like 4 years ago, and like it's just a bunch of weird little incel crowd right now. So I'm just kind of sitting here like, I don't know. I have a house now because it's Alberta, so it's relatively cheap. I'm sorry, New York.
It's maybe I got to move to Alberta.
No, don't do it, man. We are losing our rights left and right. Like,
I mean, what do you think is going on here? Well, maybe Canada's worse. I have no idea what's going on.
Well, Canada's generally okay. It's just we have a pretty hard right conservative leadership that are like, oh, we love Ron DeSantis, like that kind of stuff. So it's a bit of a
you do realize that your explanation of how bad Canada's right is that they look up to one of our right wingers.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like Polyev sucks too. So like, if anybody wants to learn more about that, just like watch Lance or David. No, it's David, right? Rational National.
Mm-hmm.
Or what's his name? Oh shoot,
David Dole. David Dole. No, David Dole.
Yeah, David. Okay, I was just blanking on his name there.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, I do a show with him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it just like we're losing our rights pretty heavily over here in Alberta. Like they're trying to make it so that they can just remove municipality people or bylaws just on the whims of just disaster or emergency situations. So like that's pretty great. And then they're removing our ability to access free healthcare lately. So they're separating our whole system into 4 little branches. It's all just a bunch of stuff you can look up. It's not great here. So yeah, stay in New York while you can, I guess.
Yeah, I honestly, it's I've always said that, and I don't mean this as like bragging or anything, but as someone born, raised, all my family's in New York. I've been in New York my entire life. I mean, obviously I've left for visits and stuff, but I've always lived in New York. It's hard to find somewhere that feels like it can outdo New York. Again, I'm sure there's plenty of places. I mean, I went to New Orleans and I loved it. I thought if there was anywhere I could move, it'd probably be New Orleans. But like, I am truly spoiled living somewhere like New York City. I mean, it would be hard to find a place comparable.
Yeah. Well, and I just have my safety social net or whatever in my area, but like I just can't leave at this point because helping with childcare is always a benefit when you're close to family.
No, that's a major thing too. Like if I moved to New York and my family wasn't always like they weren't born and raised here too, it would probably be easier for me to be like New York's great, but I don't have to. But like for me, everything is here. So like I'm right in that boat too. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I just want to say thanks for radicalizing me further.
I actually want to ask you a little bit more. Honestly,
Yeah, sure.
I would love to do a whole episode on this, but maybe we could schedule it, because I've had people on this show before to discuss like their de-radicalization and things like that, because I find it fascinating, because I think every case is something. Every person who has that experience has something that they can share to help others who are currently in the position that they used to be in. So how did Rogan specifically affect you? Like what was it about Rogan? Like, did you was he like, I don't know, you tell me. I don't even want to throw out examples.
It was kind of like a combination of like the Gamergate era, where you just kind of like, oh, like maybe they're, these feminists are going a little too far with their opinions and stuff. And like at the time, like I only knew like one trans person, and I was like, I don't really get this. And then like Rogan saying like, oh, or everybody has on like, oh, it's definitely like a mental illness. Like you guys got to basically just shut these people out completely. But I don't know. It was just kind of like the idea of like, oh, he's got really interesting people on all the time. And like, I didn't really like Jordan Peterson at the time either. But like that was just my own little opinion. I was like, oh, he's just kind of annoying, but he has some stuff he actually likes. But I just kind of saw like the crowd around him being a little bit too insane, if that makes sense. But like, I still kind of was like, don't really like Ben Shapiro, but at least he's got like a little bit of right ideas every once in a while. And then like I was really into the guys over at Cracked for a while there, like the videos. So like I was watching like the After Hours, and then like Cody Johnston shows was there originally. So I was kind of like in that weird in between stage of like kind of centrist with like a little bit more empathy, I would say, one way or the other. So like I wasn't ever like a fully far right person, but I was very much like yeah, here's the new episode of Rogan, let's get this one down. Like, oh, this guy talks about sleep and how important it is. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then there's just
I don't think a lot of people who listen to Rogan are necessarily political, which is interesting. Like that's the thing about him. Like he is sort of that like if he just didn't do the political stuff, he could just still do his MMA, fitness, just bullshit show, and no one would bother him. And that's not even like the political stuff isn't even what made him popular. Like it's just so like, but like he's like the entry point for a lot of people because it's a show like that, and people who usually listen to it, who don't listen to it for the political stuff, don't even realize generally, and I'm sure you can attest to this, that they're being radicalized in a certain political direction when they're listening to Rogan.
Yeah, and it's just like a very small trickle too. Like that's all it's ever really been. It's just like, hey, this is a cool person you like. Hey, here's a comedian that you've always liked all of their jokes and stuff, and then you watch that, and then you're like, oh, let's check out this next one. Oh, this guy's such and such a doctor, and you kind of fall down that. You never really think to just like check and see what the credentials are of these people. They just kind of spout stuff out, and you're like, oh, that makes sense to me, and they can be very persuasive. And just like eventually, just like my spiral throughout my life of just like, I don't like my wife. I don't like a lot of my life at the moment. I don't have anything going on for me right now, and I'm just kind of coaxing along. Like I should be farther ahead is all I'm thinking. And like I agreed with like some of the men's rights stuff, and I wasn't really into like the whole like, oh well, divorce is bad, because like I come from a family of divorce, and I'm like, screw you if you don't think you should support your family. Like that's ridiculous. Like anytime my dad's payments were late, it was like, well, we're just kind of suffering till he gets that sorted out. But yeah, it was just that moment of just perpetually letting this problem build and build and build until all of a sudden I had a breaking point where my life was basically in shambles and just about fell apart. So the fact that like I was able to come through it because, well, for one, I was like looking at divorce like I don't really want to get into another relationship, because at the time I was like 8 years in, or so, well, maybe not 8 years, but like I had a lot of, internal like or inside jokes with this person I was with this whole time. So I was like, I don't want to sacrifice that, but I know that this isn't working. And then eventually it just, like I didn't ever went to like therapy or anything. I just kind of thought like something happened with me that she's seeking somebody else out. Like I'm clearly not delivering. And I don't know, it's hard to like really say what changed. I think it was maybe a little bit of the, like, because I was very much in favor of Romney at the time, like in 2012, because like I'm ex-LDS at this point, so like ex-Mormon. So at the time I was like, oh yeah, like I don't think Obama should take a second term. I was in college at the time, like, oh yeah, like, see, this is where Obama, he does his regular lines, he's not really addressing any problems, and like this is why Romney's perfect here. And then just like that didn't work out, and I was like, oh, well, that sucks. And then I saw Trump coming, I'm like, oh well, it's not great, but Hillary Clinton just sucks, so you guys will be screwed if you get her, but I don't know if this guy's gonna be any better. And then just I guess just slowly watching the, it's madness really what it was, just watching it from up here. But as that just kind of got more and more to the forefront here throughout the like Rogan era, I was just kind of like, maybe there's something different that I can kind of get into, because being Christian, I was very much a like, we need to look out for the poor, and I was seeing how much the like religious era just doesn't really come to the standards that we actually need as a society. And I just wanted to always, make the world better for people, even though my, religious upbringing was like, it's supposed to get much, much worse, and it's nothing you can do about it. It's just always going to get worse. And then eventually I just, in 2020, like did some self-reflection on religion and just kind of had to break away from that at the moment. But I don't, it's a long drive of just random thoughts that come out throughout the times here, and just interactions with different people, kind of breaking out of my bubble per se. Yeah, if you have any more questions, you go ahead and ask. But
no, I mean, it's really interesting just to hear you talk about it, because everyone has a story like this, I think, who comes out of that, and everyone is different, and everyone has their own, situation. And yours is very interesting, because a lot of the people who fall down this rabbit hole, things are going bad for them from the get-go. Like they don't have a wife or anything. They are usually, they don't have anybody to fall back on, no one there for them. And then, which makes them very gullible and easy targets. Even if it's not like, purposefully going after them, they just fall down this rabbit hole. But your situation's interesting. Was, did your wife notice a difference when you stopped listening to Rogan, in terms of not just that, but when you started going the opposite direction politically?
Oh yeah, because like at the time we were thinking about divorce, like it was very much like a real conversation. And 6 months later, we were on a vacation that was kind of like our like really, really, really late honeymoon. And the whole time she was thinking like, this isn't going to last, is it? Like, I guess I'll just enjoy this as much as we can. And the whole time I'm like, we have to make this work. So like, she thought we were done, but was hoping that it wasn't. And I was just like, I can't let this be done. And so it was just a bit of more of a, like, learn what issues she has to go through, and just like kind of like picking through like general problems that women have to deal with in our society, and just like realizing like her life through her eyes is kind of like my breakthrough. Was just like, she's expected to do so much, and then when she doesn't match up to that, it's like, I don't know, it's hard looking at somebody and thinking that, yeah, they deserve to be known as a failure or something like that. Like at the time she was having a hard time maintaining work, so I was always working for her. So while she was at home, I was expecting her to do all this other stuff, like do the, you know, wifely duties. And when those weren't compounding, because I was just like, well, I don't have to do it. I have a job and I'm the one feeding us, but like I wasn't pulling my weight there. So then
Was
when
that
she doesn't,
was that more so though? Would you say that was more so your religious background and upbringing?
absolutely,
Yeah. Okay.
absolutely.
Right.
It
Which was she also, is that how you guys met, or
Yeah.
she's okay?
Yeah,
And she obviously did not feel that way, even though she had the same upbringing.
yeah. And just like there was a lot of pressure on her all the time, and then when I wasn't there emotionally for her, because I was like, well, why should I give you emotion? You're not doing the things that I want either. So it was just like a big compound on her, where her life's spiraling and she's trying to reach out to any person that can help her out. And eventually I just was looking on her Facebook and just being like, I've seen you be really close to this one guy. I want to see what you're talking about. And like I'm seeing like I love you tweet, like text to him constantly, because I hacked into her Facebook on the computer, just like, hey, I'm going to log into your account because you have it always logged in. Check on her Facebook. Oh shoot, she's been basically having an affair with this guy this whole like a little while here. And then I was just like, okay, I've seen this. We got to fix this right now. And it was just that moment of like, my misogyny is getting in the way of my marriage. And ever since I've just kind of stepped aside from that, it's just been miles better. People saw a difference almost immediately within like a few months. And yeah, what should have been a pretty typical divorce story turned into the better half of my life so far.
I'm glad that it went that way, honestly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And because like now I'm looking
What
at
was
like oh there's oh yeah, go ahead.
What was no, go ahead. I want to hear how you're going
Oh,
about,
I was just gonna say like now I see things in like there are injustices and just the basicness of like I didn't have to take like women's studies to realize that patriarchy is so toxic, because I basically destroyed my life at one point. And ever since then I've just been on a lifelong quest to just try to make things better for everybody else at the same time. Like I'm advocating for better housing policies for the people in my area, or advocating for better policies on, I don't know, just healthcare or whatever, or like, hey, I want to make sure children have the ability to eat or go to school properly and stuff like that. Like, it's not perfect up here, but it could be a lot worse, and we seem to be heading in a lot worse direction. So just like watching just hypocrites run our society, or just, I don't know, basic second classing of women just really upset me now. So
right.
I don't know.
No, that's what was I was going to say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
What so you basically cut out the things you were consuming that was putting you in this directing you in this way. And what sort, was there something what was like the first sort of things that you started reading or watching or listening to that pushed you the other way? Like, what was the moment where you were like, oh, there's this other stuff out there?
I mean, maybe it was like a bit of like, maybe like somebody shared like a Hbomberguy video or something to me. It was probably like one of my first things, because like I remember watching the Bill Nye the Science Guy thing on Netflix. It was like Save the World, and I was like, oh, they're doing that trans thing again. Okay, here we go. And then I was watching like some guy, like I think it's like the Armored Skeptic or something. I was like, yeah, that show really did suck, man. Like, who knew that Bill Nye was going to be such like a, it wasn't woke at the time, but like woke sellout or something. Like, oh, come on, man, do the science stuff. And then somebody shared me the response from Hbomberguy to all the guys on that particular video. I was like, huh, there's maybe something to all that. So I had to kind of maybe do a little bit more digging. And I think it was like a year or so after the whole controversy, but it was just kind of, I don't know if somebody showed me it or if it just kind of showed up on my feed, because I don't know, I was a pretty avid YouTube watcher. Like I wasn't like watching live streams or anything like that, but I just, watch something on my time. But like that's mostly what I'd used like podcasting for. It's like, oh, I'm doing something, just get some stuff done and listen about some weird history. So like, yeah, it might have been like a H-Bomber guy, but I was also again into like the Cracked era of YouTube. So like I was watching some of Cody's stuff and I was like, oh, okay, maybe that Donald Trump guy does actually have some pretty bad points there. But
this is a really fascinating call, and I don't want to take up too much more of your time.
Oh, but, that's fine.
Yeah, this was there anything else you wanted to call, was there anything else you wanted to call in and talk about?
No. I was just gonna come say whatever kind of came up, just kind of wing it. But I just want to say congratulations, Kowalski. That was a pretty solid second place there. Not gonna lie.
I didn't even know. I feel terrible. I didn't even know I didn't even realize Nebraska was voting yesterday. I heard about Maryland's yesterday. I didn't even hear anything about Nebraska.
Well, he's very inspiring to me, so I might throw my hat in some ring someday, but we'll see.
Everyone should run, because even if you lose that first time, you get yourself out there, and then you could run for another. But if Kowalski goes for like a house race next time around, he might be able to pull it off, because his name is out there. He got some name recognition from being on the ballot. Something like, what was it, 20 or 40,000 people voted for him? I know he's
like 40. I could be wrong, but yeah, don't quote me. But still, 48,000 or 40,000. It's still an impressive number for, basically
someone who had no. I'm assuming no money behind the campaign, was running against an incumbent. Like, that's impressive.
Yeah. So yeah, congratulations, Kowalski. I don't know if you're still watching, but I saw his name in here at one point. But yeah, it's cool stuff. And yeah, thanks again, Matt. You were a change in my life. I always appreciate it. I'm sad I didn't get in when Michael was still around, but I'm very very impressed with Emma. So I try to call in every once in a while there, but yeah, I do appreciate her as well. She's been a huge change in my life as well.
Oh, that's Emma would love to hear that. I don't know. I'm sure you've said.
I mean, Sam too, but he's boomer, so he can stay in his old man pants for a sec. But anyways, yeah, thanks for taking my call. Thanks for letting me talk for 25 minutes.
No, I honestly, I enjoyed just sitting here and throwing you the question I had and listening to, what you had to tell me, because I find it fascinating, and I'm sure I will get off this call and think of 20 more questions, and I'll be like, so it
was hard to top Donald Trump and the brainworm. So like I was very like, we'll see what happens. But
I gotta say, three character calls in a row is not something that usually happens. But they were all pretty on point today. So I'll accept it.
All right. Well, I'll watch you tomorrow night and tomorrow morning, I guess. So
yeah,
have a good rest of your stream, man.
Thank you so much. Take care. It was a pleasure to hear from you, and looking forward to talking with you some more in the future.
Yeah, we'll see if I can break free from my fatherly duties sometimes.
Hey, I know how it is. I know exactly how it is. That's why I do this show so late, because otherwise I would not be able to.
You got stuff going on.
Take care.
All right, take care, man.
Bye.
Bye.
Perfect timing, because the second we ended this call, hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
It is Kowalski from Nebraska.
Oh my God! It is the man himself, the second place senatorial candidate from Nebraska, Aaron Kowalski. Everyone, Kowalski, how are you doing, my friend?
Not bad. I've really enjoyed your character calls today. I gotta say, did you know that the last person you were talking to was actually Dave from Jamaica? That was just a character.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
The guy from Canada was Dave from Jamaica? Interesting. Wow. I gotta say, Kowalski, I don't think I've ever seen you in your room before. This is your room, I'm guessing? Your bedroom?
No, this is a guest room and a quasi office.
You have a guest room now. Interesting. It looks like some new blinds, new bed sheets. I see that campaign money was put to good use.
No, this is all old stuff. I actually have 3 guest rooms now because all my housemates moved out.
3 guest rooms. Oh my God. I got to move to Nebraska, living the good life. My God.
Hey, I said to do so, and you were like, "Yeah, but New York has like the world's greatest mayor, and like
I never said that. Never.
And...
Oh my God. Oh man. Oh yeah, Eric Adams. Oh my God. But Kowalski, congratulations. How are you? Let's be honest. How are you expecting it was going to go? Like, how did you think you would do? I mean, obviously, you have to be happy, but did it reach your expectations? Was it higher than your expectations, or was it even below your expectations? Did you not have any expectations?
Earlier on, I probably would have had higher expectations, but I ran into a few difficulties this like winter and spring with what I was doing, and then work became kind of overwhelming. So it was probably as good as I could have gotten with the resources I threw into it. But yeah, the name recognition is good, and then I keep getting, more and more name recognition, and I'm not sure. I think in some county offices will be up, and I might try to do something local, or we'll see how other things go. But
because those winning those races obviously puts you in the public eye. People in the community get to know you more as you are holding that position. And then if you go for a larger office, like a House seat, you'll already have a built-in supporter base there.
Yeah, that's pretty much my idea on it as well. Plus, because of how our elections work right now, where most of the county stuff or local stuff, because like I don't even have like a mayor election because I live out in the country. So like everything I would have would be like county commissioners, clerks, that sort of thing. We don't even vote for like the county treasurer. Or no, we vote for the county treasurer, but not like a city or anything. But no, that and I also knew that since our senator was going in unopposed in the primary, and the Democrats actually don't have anybody running in the general either, that basically she would have just been able to walk in. So I did actually inflict a little bit of a financial pain to it because, I mean, she had to spend money to go after me. And that means there was less money to go.
Were there ads? Were there ads about you?
Not like targeted ads, but it meant she had to activate the people who go and knock doors. That costs money. You got to send out the mail. That costs money. You got to send out an alarming amount of text messages.
Everyone should. Did you have to switch parties, by the way?
No, this isn't the first time I've done this.
Wait, so you could run as a Republican even if you're a registered Democrat?
No, I've been registered as a Republican for like 6 years.
Oh, because you have to. Okay, because you're in Nebraska.
Then I've always felt that it's pointless to be in the Democratic Party because what am I going to vote for? They don't hold any power in my area of the state. So, I mean, like in the primaries, there's no one. I don't live in the city. So, like, there's nothing I can vote for locally either. So, man, at least then you can play a role in the primary, which I've always been absolutely. Like, go for the moderate. Why not?
Everyone should do what you did, though. Everyone, if there is a incumbent Republican or centrist Democrat or right-wing Democrat running unopposed, even if you have no intention of doing an actual campaign, doesn't cost any money to file to run.
Oh, it does cost money to file in Nebraska.
In Nebraska, how much does it cost?
1% of your yearly salary if you won the office.
What? So how much? How much was that then?
It was like $1,700.
$1,700?
Yep, to file the paperwork.
You had to send $1,700 to run?
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it this way, your name has to go on hundreds of thousands of ballots.
Holy shit.
So I mean,
I don't think that's the case. Is that the case in New York? I never looked into this. Hold on. Does it cost money
for
to...
statewide offices here in Nebraska? If you were running for like our state senate, because they only make $12,000 a year, it's $120 filing fee. So I've looked into that one.
That is insane. That is insane.
What does it cost in New York?
I'm not seeing anything.
Ours is actually pretty straightforward. You go to the Secretary of State office. It should be like a .gov thing.
I don't see any sort of... That really, and you have to pay that in advance, obviously, right? Like,
yep, the day you file.
See, this is why a lot of regular people don't run for office, because 1,700. I know the farm industry is doing grand right now, so you are swimming in money like Uncle Scrooge.
Not that grand, but I mean, I also don't have any kids to support, and
$1,700 would absolutely ruin me. I could not run for office if that's what it cost. Oh my God, that's ridiculous.
So you have a skill issue,
right? Yes, right. Wait, so how much does a senator make? I guess what
177,000 before tax, or no, that's after tax. I think they make over 200,000 before tax, but
wait,
you pay the after tax.
In the chat here, Adam S says it's $5,000 in Indiana. What?
Yeah, and those rules are put in place by the state legislatures of each state, so it will vary state by state.
I can see them saying like the fee is a percentage of like what your campaign raises or something like that, or a flat fee, whatever is greater or something like that. But 1% of the salary is insane.
Yeah. But
and then $5,000 in Indiana looks even more. I mean, I guess compared to Indiana, you get a bargain in Nebraska.
I wonder which state has the most expensive. I feel like it would have to be like California or Texas.
I don't think it costs money to run for office in New York. I really don't think. How much does it cost to file to run for office in New York? All right, let's see. I'm not seeing anything. I'm not getting any information, so I don't know if there is a fee.
I would be skeptical if there wasn't. I'm pretty sure pretty much every state has a fee because somebody.
New York, no fee.
Really?
No fee. Mm-hmm. At least for state legislature. I'm on a state legislature website, but I'm guessing that's the going to be the case across the board.
That is kind of surprising. I know for a lot of like your.
That's how it should be. No, and. It must be the same.
It should be.
It must be the same across the board because I'm seeing it's the same thing in Nebraska for state legislature. 1% of the annual salary. That's ridiculous. Montana, it's $15. I think that's fair. $15. New Hampshire, $10.
Running for state legislature, though, is something that would be a little bit easier for me to do just because my district is, well, I've lived here my whole life, so I know a lot of the people. The issue is our state legislature meets between January and May. Guess what's going on from January to May? That's where I make 60% of my income
farming
a year.
Season, right?
Yeah. So if I did that.
California's right there with you, by the way, not to interrupt, but California is also 1% of the first year's salary. That's ridiculous.
Man.
Ridiculous.
Maybe it's a Western state thing. You coastal East Coast elites with your free riding, just, mooching off the taxpayers. What can I say?
It shouldn't cost money. It
shouldn't
money
at all. But like our state Senate races, those are our state legislators get paid $12 grand a year. Now, they only meet for 5 months out of the year, but if you think about it, that means it's basically excluding anybody who has to work for a living. So our legislatures are filled with people who are either like well-connected people in Lincoln and Omaha, or they're like retired, or they're just independently wealthy.
Right.
Pretty sure it's a
they're
scam.
running a business while they're in the government, and then just happen to be wheeling and dealing for their business while they're in government.
We got pretty lucky with my old state rep because he was a retired farmer, but he seemed to be pretty well connected with what people needed because he got a lot of high-speed internet out here. That was his big thing, and it, for the most part, got to all the towns. So that Nebraska is technically statewide, if you run for state office, nonpartisan. So you don't have to be affiliated with either party, though it does help you with like endorsements and stuff. So, which is interesting.
That is, yeah.
Because for that, they just take whoever gets the top 2 largest percentages, they go on to the general. So.
Yeah. I like how that works usually, because then people who don't feel like they just threw away a vote for a candidate who ended up not having any real chance.
Right. It's a bit better of a system, but yeah, I mean, I was 40,000 plus votes. I think it was a pretty good showing, especially for the total amount that I ended up spending on it.
How much did you spend, if you don't mind me asking?
Probably just shy of 4. So.
$4?
$4,000 if you include the filing fees.
Oh, including the filing! Wow.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Do you know how much your opponent spent?
Over 100,000. So
right, let's break it down. Hold on, let's break it down.
Everybody.
How many votes did you get again?
I think it was like 42,000. I'd have to look it up on my.
42,000. And how much did you say you spent? 4,500? 4,400?
Probably closer to 42.
42.
Maybe. Depends on how you look at a couple things. So I had 43,000 votes, and she had 170,000.
So someone who's better at math than me, how much did Kowalski?
Mine were about 10 cents each, and she paid about $1 a vote. So
that's good, man. Imagine you had an actual campaign apparatus. Seriously.
Yeah, but some of those votes, and I also do understand this, were protest votes too, because she is widely unpopular. But
yeah, there you go. I mean, well, not unpopular enough to lose, but
yeah.
No, but I mean that's still something. Like, did you hit the road? Did you get to talk with people? Did you knock doors?
Wasn't able to get away from work was my issue, because we had so much going on this spring that we normally don't because of that twister 2 years ago. We've been rebuilding a building. So like, I didn't even have weekends off all winter. We had just been focused on getting everything ready.
You should have cut an ad of you just working on the farm being like, I'm sorry, I can't.
It's expensive though to air those ads, even online.
Even in Nebraska?
Yeah, it is expensive. Because
how much we talking about?
I mean, to do even a small commercial spot on because the most reach you can get is going through Sinclair Media Group. Even one commercial, it's like 15 to 30 seconds long. In one time slot, it's a lot. It's like several hundred. So it's like, where do you target that?
You should have run targeted Facebook ads.
Facebook is tricky to work with. That engagement on it is typically pretty terrible.
I mean, I'm gonna assume that with political advertising and the
TikTok probably would have been the best way to go. Actually,
with the demographic that votes, I'm thinking Facebook would have been a slam dunk. In Nebraska, it's young voters.
No, TikTok. Pretty much every older person I know is on TikTok.
Really?
Yeah, it has. I don't know how they're going to ban it. It's going to anger everybody. But
yeah, I don't think they're thinking this through, and I don't think it's gonna happen for a very long time, honestly, because it's gonna be in the courts for a while.
It's going to be a logistical nightmare in the courts. I doubt it's going to go anywhere. But
it's a complete shit show. It's gonna be a complete shit show, I should say.
Yeah, pretty much. That and like I know a few people on that were wondering why they hadn't heard this on MR or anything, and the reason for that was that I didn't really want to get this like community invested in it because I knew it was going to be predominantly a messaging campaign, and your money was better suited towards your own local races because you guys need to work on like tangible gains. I knew what I was doing here, and I didn't want to waste those resources.
Right.
Because I knew if I would have gone on there and been like, hey, you could donate to this, and yeah, it would have helped. But at the same time, it was an uphill battle that was doomed to fail. So
right.
I didn't feel comfortable doing that.
Would you do it again?
Yeah, I will see how things shake out in the next 2 years. Or actually, it's going to be more like a year after this election in the fall, because Ben Sasse resigned his seat 2 years ago, and Pete Ricketts got appointed to the position, and then he just won a special election for it, but that seat is up in 2 years. Ricketts is very unpopular. The issue is that his dad has basically unlimited money. I'm pretty sure he just prints the stuff. And they dominate Nebraska politics. So I'm not sure if I can beat Ricketts' dad's money, but I'm going to try to get more of the farmer vote out there, because the issue for a lot of farmers is our election was yesterday. Do you know what every farmer was doing yesterday?
Farming?
They were planting. Yes, everyone's planting. I got calls or messages from like maybe a half a dozen people that I know pretty well who said, hey, sorry I couldn't make it to vote yesterday because I couldn't take an hour off. The way the forecast has been, we've been getting rain every other day, so it's where
the closest voting booth is? An hour away?
Well, a lot of people have to go vote at their county seats in person, or you can sign up for the mail-in votes, which aren't terrible. They used to be a lot simpler. Now, for some reason, you have to write your freaking driver's license number on the return envelope, which seems like a security risk to me. But
right, it does.
That's actually how I've always done it, because like voting here, like it's always in May and it's always in November. That's planting season and it's harvest season. The two busiest times of the year that you cannot stop. Like on our farm, it's like you're telling 5 people to just stop what they're doing, go spend an hour to vote, and then come back. Like it's That's just like a frustrating inconvenience. It would be a little nicer if it was like a statewide holiday to where like businesses and stuff were closed. It would make it, a little easier maybe, but like, yeah, that. And I've also been thinking of like an advocacy group that needs to be made to try to get farmers to realize that our political future is at stake and it's having real world consequences because we're not being listened to. An interesting dynamic is that like a lot of farmers are not necessarily like wanting to end immigration to this country because it would collapse our economy completely.
Right.
And most farmers work in the fields with a lot of immigrants. So they view it as like, oh, it's a problem everywhere that isn't my farm. Like my immigrants are the good ones. So if we could just get the advocacy going, like that's why I was saying during the election process, like, I just want to expand visas, get everybody into this system. That way, nobody's getting paid under the table. Nobody's like, if you have an issue, you can go to the authorities, just basic bureaucracy. And for the most part, anybody who heard that's like, oh yeah, that sounds pretty reasonable. And then we can still talk about border security after that. But like we have hundreds of thousands of people on the border right now and they're still getting through. I doubt 100,000 more is going to make a difference.
Right.
It seems like bureaucracy is usually the most optimal solution to most of our problems.
What would be your House seat that you would run for?
Nebraska's 3rd district, and that is against Adrian Smith, who has no farming background whatsoever.
And I'm guessing there's a lot of farms in that district.
The 3rd district of Nebraska is larger than Pennsylvania, and it is 95% by land area agricultural land.
So maybe you run for Senate in 2 years to get your name out there again, and then go after him in 4 years.
The issue I see with it, though, is that like my politics might be a bit off-putting if I really couldn't deliver a win, and I feel like a Senate seat would give you time to do that, whereas a House seat, it's such a it's such a battle entirely. Well,
you're more likely you'd be more likely to win a House seat than a Senate seat. I mean, in New York at least. I don't know if it'd be different in Nebraska, because I'm guessing it could be different. But I don't know. This guy won 67,000 votes.
He's not inspiring. The problem is, if you have a challenger that can go up against him, the Ricketts family just gives him the money he needs to win. That's always been the issue with these guys, is that they always have these donors who can just keep throwing money at it. Like, it'd be more possible. It'd be more
possible for you to meet the people in your district, though.
That is true. If I could actually run a hell of a ground game, it would be doable. Yes.
This is a large, land-wise, a large district. Holy shit! It's like the whole state.
And there's only 660,000 people in there. It is the same as the Omaha district, which is number 2.
Damn. Yeah, this is more like running a, but now that you have, I mean, you basically this is basically running a statewide race.
Yeah, it basically is.
Like if you so, I mean, I think you do good against him then, because you just got practice in there. 40,000 some odd votes. I mean, you're still 20,000 behind, but you run again in the Senate in 2 years. Your name's back out there. If you outdo yourself, get more than 40,000 votes, that's a good trajectory.
Well, that is a decision to think about too, because since it will be a midterm election, there will be a lot of there won't be as much interest in it. So if you could actually inspire a segment of the population to get out there to vote, it might be a little easier than during
that's true.
The presidential cycle. But I'm still trying to figure out which route would be better, because Ricketts definitely will spend all of his dad's money to keep that seat.
Make him, yeah.
But the House one might be a bit easier to achieve. But the problem is that like a challenger, if you're one of those like flimsy people, as you know, you would be pointed out being in the House, like you would get challenged immediately on that. So.
Hey, I think if a politician actually delivered for their district, I think people would look past the more nationwide policies. Do you know what I mean?
That is true. Most of the stuff I was running on was always centered around this thing that I called the Rural Revolution, which is what I told you about like 2 months ago when I called in about like the housing thing and stuff like that. Oddly enough, I was basically just telling you about my campaign ideas without telling you they were my campaign ideas. So yeah, but
I'm looking at these districts. I think the biggest district is what, Lincoln County? I mean, the biggest county in the district is Lincoln County?
Cherry County is the biggest one. Well, population-wise.
That's what I'm talking about, population-wise.
Population-wise, Hall County is the biggest one in the district, and that
one. I can't find it. I'm going through, hovering over the map.
Middle of the state, slightly south. It's a square county with a triangular county pointing at it. There's a Triangle County to the east.
Hall County, you said?
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Middle of the map, slightly to the south. There's a triangular shaped county.
I'm on the big square, Lincoln County. Where am I going? Northwest, northeast, south,
east.
East.
Let me. We have a lot of counties here, folks. So let me make sure I'm looking at the.
I'm not finding it, man.
Let's see. Lincoln County. Go. You see how it borders another big county to the north?
Custer County?
Yes. Now go over to, on the bottom to there.
Howard County?
Go south 1.
Hall County. There we go. It's about the same size as Lincoln County, vote-wise. They got the same amount of votes, pretty much.
The population of Hall County is 62,000. The population of Lincoln County is 34.
Lincoln County gets their voters out then. Hall County better pick it up.
Hall County has a city and an active Democratic Party there. So it's split.
You would need to convince all those people to switch parties for that your election. For your primary.
Yeah, that would be a tough sell. But that's like my neck of the woods is that area of the state near Hall. So, and his neck of the woods is Kimball, which is all the way to the west that borders Wyoming and Colorado.
It's a tiny little county. There's what, total of 600 voters in the election?
Oh wait, no. Sorry about that. Go up to Scotts Bluff.
Oh, okay. That's a bigger county. It's about what?
Yeah.
2,500 voters.
Says it has a population of 36K. So.
I think, you know.
Are you starting to understand why housing is so cheap?
Yeah, I mean, you are in the middle of the country, right? Like right smack dab in the middle, right?
You see the big giant county to the north there called Cherry County?
Yep.
5,400 people.
50. That's it?
That's it.
They all vote. Well, like 25, 35, 40% of them voted.
Yeah, and...
Wait, no, you said 2,500 people?
No, there are 5,400 people in that whole county.
5,400 people. Yeah, it's about, almost half of them voted.
That is Fisher's home turf, and that is the county I did the best in.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Or it
so
might
they
be
really
a
don't.
one I did a
They really
better.
don't.
No, she is despised by a lot of people. Basically because she doesn't do anything for us. Like, you know, the normal platitudes, fighting for lower taxes, which hasn't really helped because, well, now there's less investment. So it's not really a good long-term thing. So I'm glad everyone got to hear a little bit about Nebraska's geography.
I love learning about this stuff. I would love to learn about a little bit about each of these each of these states. I mean, they might as well be foreign countries. I'd love to know a little bit more about each of these states and how. So do you have any? There's no Democrats in office there at all, not even at the state level, or are there?
So about a third of our state senate is democratically controlled, or just shy of 1/3.
Oh, right, because you have I forgot about these. I was looking at your district and forgetting that there were other districts.
But Nebraska is unique. We only have a state senate. We are unicameral, so we don't have state house reps. We just have senate reps. But right now, Republicans do have a supermajority, and they've been able to pass some stuff that has not been good. When they recently looked at they changed the abortion laws and some trans stuff, and it caused 20,000 young people who graduated that year to leave the state.
Wow, 20,000?
Yep. It was
Wow.
absolutely devastating. And when I pointed this out to my state senator, who is a plant from Omaha, he said he doesn't really care. The bad part is most of those who left were all women too, which means there's going to be a slight delay for the men who are like, well, I need to leave now to find somebody. That tends to be how that happens.
The thing that sucks about that is I'm assuming a lot of young people leave for blue states, which means, well, you know, it's their life. That's what they got to do first and foremost. But in the broader picture, politically, you know, we just continue on with this problem of red states and blue states, and none of them really switching.
Yeah, it solidifies that. And then the other issue I might actually look into this because of my background of doing research and stuff. It's mainly economics, but you know how there is like a blue collar job shortage in the United States right now of workers who can do blue collar jobs like your plumbers, electricians, and carpenters and such?
Oh, there is. I didn't realize.
It's massive. If you decided to be an electrician or a plumber right now, you could probably make six figures.
I am going to reconsider my career.
But I think I've noticed a trend that rural flight was probably at its highest most recently in the 1980s. Following that was our largest spike of immigration from Mexico as a result of NAFTA. And most of those immigrants were all people of agricultural backgrounds. People who have agricultural backgrounds are considered jacks of all trades because, like, everything we do, you know how to measure, you know how to deal with lumber, you know how to weld, you know how to do a lot of the stuff that is needed for a lot of blue collar jobs. But now that we are out of surplus farmers, there isn't this reserve pool of blue collar workers out there anymore because we've completely drained the countryside. Typically, this has never happened throughout history unless there's like a big war. But basically, now that the countryside is hollowed out, you do not have these like massive reserve of jack of all trades. A lot of people went to like the professional fields of like white collar jobs, and those skill sets just don't quite transition well to like running a welder. I mean, could you run a welder, Matt?
No, I could probably do the plumbing job. I probably could not be a farm. Well, depends what farming we're talking about. Like raising livestock, I think I could do that. I've got a lot of experience with animals.
The day I stood between a newborn calf and its very angry 1,200-pound mother, could you have, just stood your ground?
I think I could have. I'm not afraid of animals. I've been around animals my whole life. Not a cow, not cows, but I'm not afraid of animals. So I think I could do that. It's the mass production of corn and things like that. I don't know if I could handle the mass vegetable. Like I could run I could be an egg farmer. I could get me a lot of chickens. And I could do get the eggs out there. I could do that. I could go pick the eggs. I could do that.
Well, it is legal to send live eggs through the mail. So I will send you 3 dozen. We'll get you started. Just get them to hatch.
Well, the problem there is I don't got nowhere to put them. If I was going to go become a farmer, I'd have to leave New York for sure.
Look, I've seen a map of New York. You guys have 800 acres of perfectly good farmable land in the middle of Manhattan.
That's true, but I'm sure if they ever put that up for sale, I would not be able to afford it. Hopefully they don't put that up for sale. That'd be horrible. Oh, my God.
I wouldn't put it past Eric Adams.
Oh, I love it. That guy, my God. If he doesn't, everyone's looking forward to this year. To me, I don't really even care about Biden versus Trump. The real election for me is in 2025, the mayoral election with Adams. That to me is the one I'm really stressing about. We gotta here in New York, we gotta coalesce around a single candidate. We can't be doing the bullshit we did 3 years ago, I should say, where there was like 20 different candidates. Everyone was like, "Oh, we got ranked choice voting. It doesn't matter." Nah, we can't. We just cannot.
Or you go with the opposite approach, since apparently it's free to run for office in New York. 20,000 people need to run on the right-wing side of things. Dilute the vote so catastrophically for Eric Adams' base that whoever on the other side runs will win.
I don't know who would. I don't
nominate every member of Staten Island to run for mayor and just dilute the fucking vote.
Right. No, but the problem is it's ranked choice voting, so they could pick Adams after all their other guys lose. Yeah, but I don't know how he would win. Like, he's just so hated in a way that no mayor in many years has been. I mean, Giuliani, obviously, but that was many, many, many years after he left the position.
Yeah, when people found out why he had 2 command centers after 9/11, I had no idea about that until I was in, college, I think. That's insane. Who the hell would do that?
Yeah, he is just New York has a great. Everyone thinks, oh, it's New York, gotta be super progressive. Yeah, we have the worst candidates. Like, for every AOC we got 20 Eric Adams. Like, it's bad.
I feel like the real estate lobby there may have, just maybe, a little too much purchasing power.
Yes, they get involved. Yes. One good thing about New York City, though, is easier for small candidates in very localized district, in even house districts, to go out there, knock on doors, and get people out there for them, because we're also close. You can literally walk it. You don't even need a car. You could walk around and knock on doors.
Yeah, that would be a bit of a chore in Nebraska outside of Omaha. And even Omaha is half suburbs, so.
Yeah. Well, Kowalski, it was fantastic to hear this. I really enjoyed this discussion. I learned a lot about Nebraska, first of all. And congratulations, really. You should be proud. Like, that's... You did good, my friend. You did very good.
At the very least, I wasted a lot of money that went to the Nebraska media market. So
who does she have? I'm assuming she has a Democrat running against her, or no?
No, the Democrats wouldn't put up a candidate.
Why not? Why not just? You never know. Why not just run someone?
There is an independent guy running from, I think, Omaha, who has a labor background, who the Democrats will probably endorse. But the Democrats just do not spend money in this state, which really sucks, because that supermajority the Republicans got could have been prevented with just a little bit of DNC help in Lincoln and Omaha at holding 2 seats when they had the ability to win 5. That's ridiculous. Instead of gaining 5, they lost 2, which cost them the supermajority, or which gained Republicans the supermajority to do a lot of bad stuff. And the thing is that everything those guys are advocating for in Lincoln and Omaha are broadly pretty good. It makes no sense. One last tangent, if you'll let me do this.
No, please, go ahead.
We had a state senator, Ben Nelson. He was reviled by a lot of Nebraskans because it was his vote that got the Affordable Care Act passed. He was the final holdout. He was the last Democratic senator in the state's history to win. And when he came back to Nebraska, before that vote, he asked the governor why he would not support it. He said it would destroy the state budget, even though it was only having to put up 10% of the money for the Medicaid expansion. He said it would blow up Nebraska's budget, so we should not support it. That was the criteria that was laid out. Ben Nelson went back and talked to who was the leader back then? The guy from from Nevada, Harry Reid.
Yep.
Yeah, he told Harry Reid this. So you know what they added in the cutout, or they added in the final bill? The Husker kickback. 100% of our expansion would be covered by the federal government, so it would not destroy our budget. He voted for it, and it did not matter. The governor lied. They still lambasted him over it.
Wow.
It was just to ensure that the insurance companies would not get messed with, even though it ended up benefiting all the insurance companies in the end anyways. I personally think a senator that does something like that is a hero. Like, your whole point is to go to D.C. and get what you can for your constituents, and he got 100% of the expansion covered by the federal budget.
That's impressive.
That was great. That was using his political power to the best that he could, and he knew it would cost him in the end. He still did it, and I mean, yeah, that's what leaders should do. I do not understand why people did not applaud him for it. That, and the state ended up dragging its feet for so long to do the expansion. We were like in the latter half of the people who did it, and it literally cost us nothing. So dumb. But yeah, that's
so what is I don't even know what to say. Like that's incredible. I guess not surprising, but just like that specific story is very
it was interesting though for like a few months how Nebraska was national news because they called it the Husker kickback because anything that happens in Nebraska,
I vaguely remember this. I vaguely remember this. Yeah. What year was this?
That would have been like 2009, I think. Because I think they passed that within the first 6 months of Obama's first term. But yeah, you can look up the Husker kickbacks. I've looked into it a bit more on that, and I might be simplifying or forgetting a few things, but that was basically what occurred. So,
Cornhusker kickback, it was called.
Yeah, the Cornhusker kickback, because everything has to be associated with our Cornhuskers.
All right.
Yeah. It's all college football out here, man. So
I don't get it, man. Oh man, what's Ben Nelson up to nowadays?
I'm not sure. I haven't looked into it. He retired. I figured after what he did, he deserves to go to like a nice island and just be fine. So he earned that one. When I was at university in Kearney, we actually had an observatory there, one of the best planetariums in the entire state. And we actually have quite a few of them. And it was built because of grant money he got for us. So he was pretty cool. He got Nebraska a lot of money, and that's what they need to be doing.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I'll leave you with that. So
I appreciate the education, Kowalski.
Yeah. Oh, and to your last caller who was talking about getting away from Joe Rogan and stuff, I almost fell down the PragerU pipeline, but there was one thing that pulled me out of it. Like 2 months as I was going into it, they tried to do a video that was anti-climate change, and it just could not get through to me. I have taken too many science courses. I knew something was wrong, and then after that, I found Three Arrows channel, and that's what eventually led me to all of you guys. So that was my journey. It can happen to anyone, but just remember, if you actually study science, there's no way you could fall into this stuff.
There you go. Everyone study science.
Yes.
Kowalski,
all right, man. I appreciate the time. So.
Great call. I appreciate it. Have a great night, and congrats again. Really good work.
This will not be the last time they see me. So.
Ooh, I like that. Ooh.
Catch you later.
Take care. All right, folks. There's a lot of people calling in, but you know what? I'm gonna hold to it. I'm gonna read super chats, and that's the show. We've gone 2.5 hours. Feeling a little bit tired, but I've not faltered in a single call, so I'm not gonna do it. I know there's people who are trying to call in. I think that's it though for tonight. All right. Let's go to Twitch. Humanist Report. Thank you so much for the raid. Didn't even see you before. Thank you. So we got raided by Dylan Burns and the Humanist Report tonight. Thank you so much, both of you. And thanks to all the viewers that stuck around. Be sure to follow this channel if you haven't already. Again, over at twitch.tv/Matt Binder. Rebel Without a Cause resubscribed with Prime. Subscriber for 24 months. Thank you so much, Rebel Without a Cause. 24 months, 2 years subscriber. I appreciate that. It means a lot. Valinova gave out 10 community gift subs over on Twitch. Thank you so much, Valinova. I really appreciate that. Once again at patreon.com/MattBinder. NC Sketchy, Andrew S., and Lux, thank you so much for ending the Patreon member dry spell. Thanks to all three of you. We got new Patreon members this month. Once again, if you can afford to do so and would like to, because you like this show, you support this show, you want to see more content, please go to patreon.com/MattBinder and subscribe. It's been rough like 2 or 3 months on Patreon, just not growing. Partially on my end, I got to figure things out, do more, work, give you more reasons to join. But for people who are already enjoying it, and if you have the means, patreon.com/MattBinder. The Kowalski thing was fascinating. B. Buccaneer says we need a Kowalski analysis every week. Yeah, I was very interested in learning about Nebraska, honestly. As I would any state. Donald James with a membership super chat over on YouTube, member for 10 months. Thank you, Donald James. If I were Biden debating Trump and Trump started talking crap, I would just say, you're a convicted sexual assaulter. Shut up. I see what you're saying, but you gotta tread that line of what the average American wants to hear. Renee with a super chat says, welcome to America. Try the prison food. JHLFSC with a super chat. We make the macabre arguments by, excuse me, I don't know why I said that. We make the macabre argument by stating the grim facts. 1, we can have a genocide, or 2, we can have a genocide plus ethnic cleansing in the U.S. Yes. Jay Cass with a super chat, some corn emojis, and hashtag Kowalski 2024. Well, now we got to start the Kowalski 2026 campaign. And Foresto with a super chat, in Cali, apprentice bricklayers start at $40 an hour and can make up to $100 an hour depending on location and experience. I don't know about, I don't know if I could do bricklaying. Maybe. I'd have to try it first. I could do plumbing. I feel like I could do plumbing. I've fixed related things like that before. Electrician, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to. Too dangerous. I got kids. The farming stuff I could do. The welding, probably not. I could do the animal stuff. I could raise livestock. I could definitely do that. I want to do chickens, though. Maybe cows. Maybe goats. Probably should say I would like to do chickens, though, and then add cows and goats. I would like to raise chickens, cows, and goats. Maybe sheep. Oh, wool. I could do that. I could definitely be a sheep shearer. My wife is big into like knitting and crocheting and things like that, and so I've accompanied her to various knitting conventions, including ones on farms out in Long Island. And I've watched them do it many times. It's hard work, but I think I could do that. And she'd be into it too, so it'd be a family business. Bay Photo with a membership super chat. Member for 10 months. 20,000 young folks might have left Nebraska, but I think Kowalski might be able to secure 20,000 leftists to the state. LOL. Maybe everyone moves to Nebraska and gets Kowalski in office there. Yeah. Everyone's laughing at my joke about doing chickens and goats and cows. Yep. Mm-hmm. Lorelei says Binder at the cows and chickens. LMAO. Llamas and alpacas. Yeah, I could do llamas and alpacas too. Why do I keep saying do? Could raise llama and alpacas too. I don't want to do them. I want to raise them. Gang of Greenhorn says chickens are so easy. Goats are like escape artists that naturally climb mountains. I like goats though. Goats are cool. All right, folks. That's the show. I'm gonna end on a strong note instead of you see me get drained as the night goes on. And we're already at midnight here. I know I started a little bit later than usual, but we're already at midnight. We're now at what? Almost 2 hours, 40 minutes. I think that's a good show. And then, you got me tomorrow on Majority Report. You got me tomorrow on Leftist Mafia. We got 2 guests tomorrow because Rebecca won't be joining us because today, May 15th, well, it's now May 16th, but we're only 8 minutes into the day. May 15th was Rebecca's birthday. Happy birthday, Rebecca. All right, folks. Oh, who should I rate on Twitch? Who's on right now? Let's see. Who am I rating? Who do we got? What is the Leftist Mafia stream schedule? We stream every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's on all of our channels. We cross the streams. So you can watch it on my channel, Humorous Report's channel, David Dole's channel, Lance's channel. I stream it on both YouTube and Twitch. People tend to watch it on the channel that they like interacting with the community most because you are in that specific channel. You're with those specific viewers in the live stream chat. I'm proud to say that my stream is usually the most viewed live stream, even though I'm competing with my co-hosts who have bigger YouTube channels subscriber-wise than mine. But yeah, it's there it is. All right, I'm going to raid Amy EC3. Haven't rated her in a bit, and always a fan of what she does. She's covering Israel, Palestine right now, so that's good stuff to do. To send you guys to, I should say. All right, let me get this raid going. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow on Majority Report and Leftist Mafia, and then I'll see you again next time on Doomed.